How often do you receive an email saying 50% off, or a marketing message on a website letting you know 15 people have bought this item and it might run out? Could that be short-termist, and could it be damaging your brand?
The problem with marketing today is that people are only focused on short-term metrics. They'll go, I need to hit this quarterly number and I got to do anything I can to actually get there. So what we have is a race to the bottom, and people just go, I need to do whatever I can, so they start using clickbait tactics. People do that because they're focused on short-term metrics and they're giving up on the value of their brand's voice. I believe what the future of marketing needs is people to realize that their brand matters. Their brand fundamentally matters, and that you cannot have these two diametrically opposite messaging tactics operate in tandem.
So prove it. Who's getting their messaging right and who's getting it wrong?
What people need to focus on more, in my opinion, is doubling down on their brand values. So let's take, for example, Virgin Holidays. This is a great example of a company who exudes the Virgin brand. You know, you see them, you become happy, you think, it's a little bit risque, but you trust them. Now think about a discount brand, for example. Somebody, what formerly may have been a majestic high street brand who now just go buy now, buy now, buy now. You would never go into that shop and buy something at full price, and yet you'll go and you'll pay £10,000 at Virgin Holidays.
But back to marketing basics, getting the right message to the right person at the right time. How can marketers avoid getting trapped writing the same old thing?
There's been a proliferation of advertising channels, but the supply of copywriters has remained stagnant. And you can't just magically invent new copywriters. It's a very, very unique skill. So since there's an undersupply and a huge demand for it, human copywriting simply does not scale.
And that's not all.
People believe that they can write better than anybody else on the planet. So we have all these preconceived notions about what's true and what's not. It's actually not the case, because what we do when we write something is we have all these biases from our past experience, which then drive what we actually write. And we don't actually look in the entire universe of language which you can use.
So enter the machine and artificial intelligence.
With a machine, when it's trained appropriately, it can explore all the different reaches within that universe of possible language, home in on what is the right brand voice, simultaneously home in on what's going to perform well, and then scale that across an enterprise.
But this isn't just about personalizing messages to an audience of one. The technology can be applied to something much bigger.
Personalization itself, in my opinion, has some very powerful but very limited use cases. And the majority of advertising that is the most effective is mass marketing advertising. So the example here is, why would brands pay $5 million for a Super Bowl ad if it didn't work? I don't believe that the leading CMOs of the biggest companies in the world are that stupid, right? Mass marketing works. Where we fit into the mix is we help optimize that mass marketing message across an enterprise.
And getting the language right on a big scale helps avoid getting it wrong on a small scale.
Let's say that you're a big brand and you're sending out a mass email marketing message, right? It's going out to 5 million people. You click that launch button and millions of eyes are going to see it. That's not personalized. And trying to personalize a message for each person has a huge, huge failure rate. How many times have you got a message from Amazon where the products are personalized to you, but it's a really weird personalization? You just go, either it's creepy or it doesn't make sense, right? What you need to do is avoid looking stupid. So what I think people should do is, instead of focusing on personalizing, focus on avoiding being irrelevant. It means you can personalize up to the point of efficacy, but not cross over that chasm to become creepy or give bad recommendations, which is the scourge of personalization systems.
So how do you create that magic copy from machines?
We take some of the past language they've used in various campaigns and their brand guidelines. As you can see, we've got a whole team of computational linguists in-house who then construct what's called a natural language generation algorithm. This is a system that produces language that's indistinguishable from what humans write. That's all the brand needs to give. What you need to do, though, is, producing a million ways of saying the same thing is not actually very useful. What you need is a small amount of copy that's effective. So on top of that, we layer a deep learning system that can predict, with a higher accuracy rate than any human on the planet, what copy is effective and what copy is not effective. The end result is the customer gets a whole bunch of language that's adherent to their brand voice, but also performs strongly, so ultimately gets them more eyes on their messages.
That sounds very impressive, but how do you know what will actually work when a communication goes live?
Our models are absolutely built upon a high volume of tests being conducted, but we actually work with our customers to work out the methodology of the tests. And then we take the feedback data from those tests back into the model, so it continuously and progressively improves performance over time.
Just because something written is technically correct, that's not always how we'd actually write it.
One thing we learned early on is language needs to sound natural. It can't sound robotic, because when people read stuff, what they do is they have an internal voice. And they actually read it to themselves subconsciously in that internal voice. So if you read a sentence that sounds robotic, that sounds unnatural, you're going to respond to it in a very odd way and not understand what it says. So it's absolutely critical, just from a comprehension standpoint, that something sounds natural. And if you can couple the natural sounding aspect of the language with a predicted high performance, then you get this all singing, all dancing copy machine.
Hi, I'm James Wright and thanks for watching Marketing Media Money. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thanks for watching.